items. It varies from Captain Smith's sword to, personal things from some of the survivors and some of the crew members who went down with the ship. Very good, interesting collection down there.
The watch.
The watch, and that's your father?
Yes, and that was the telegram Mother received to confirm that he hadn't been saved. He was one of those that happily, as they thought, transferred from the Olympic to the Titanic, which was in effect, the prestige ship, of course, of the day, and a lot of them did have reservations about the Olympic because she had one or two accidents, and in fact I got a letter written only in January 1912 where she damaged a propeller, and of course to get on the unsinkable Titanic was really something. It was just ironic it didn't work out that way, but we tried to find out the time from the hand. It would seem that he went in the water about 10 to 2, that's how I've worked it out, and his body was found, according to Mother's story, by fishermen, and they buried him at sea, of course, and sent all the effects back, which Mother had, which came in my possession when she died. She lived to 86. And so I felt, it'd be nice to donate it here where I knew they had an exhibit. And I'm even more pleased since I've come to this convention because people are so genuinely interested and they're getting a lot of pleasure out of seeing these things. So it's really nice to know that people are getting this satisfaction.
They tend to want something actually from the ship, which is virtually impossible. Now, although Titanic was in port for a few days, she wasn't open to the public. There weren't tours around her like there were a lot of the ships. So most of the stuff that has come off the ship has been pinched by crew members or VIPs. They go on board for a souvenir, exactly the same as they do on Kiwi2 or Canberra these days, and they come off with a menu or, something like that, or a box of matches. And those are the things that are actually genuinely from the ship. But of course, a lot of the stuff is just stamped White Star Line. So, you can't always prove the provenance of it. But the majority of people just want some small memento. So that's one reason why a local company has had the enterprise to make some special commemorative souvenirs.
I can remember the sister ship Olympic, of course, as a small boy, being taken down at the pier at Southampton, watching these magnificent liners coming up Southampton water. And I think, it all started from that, and the fascination of the story and the tragedy, and how it deeply affects Southampton, where, of course, I was born. And so 10 years ago, on the 70th anniversary, I actually commissioned Lawrence Bagley, a very famous watercolourist, to commission a painting to commemorate the 70th anniversary.
A lot of the people collect postcards, and again, the original Titanic ones are quite expensive. We've had a couple made, limited edition ones of our own, but there are a lot on the market that have been reproduced from original photographs. The Ulster Folk Museum in Belfast, they did quite a good selection. One of the things a lot of people like are pictures of Titanic. Now, in 1912, just after she sank, the entrepreneurs turned out all kinds of prints. This particular one is a 1912 print. Although it says a Titanic, ostensibly it's Olympic. The two ships were virtually identical, but the promenade deck on Titanic was enclosed. The entrepreneurs at the time didn't realize, or didn't particularly bother, that when you looked at a ship broadside, the two of them were very slightly different. So they tended to use Olympic on nearly all the Titanic items, apart from the original photographs. This is a hand-tinted print of her, designed to be sold probably for about 3 or 4 pence. In old money, not the modern money. Just to raise money for themselves, usually. Some were sold on behalf of the relief funds, but these particular ones were purely commercial. This one is an actual photograph of Titanic. again made within a few days of the actual sinking, and it shows her just leaving Southampton Water. These are far more sought after than the previous type, which are basically artist impressions. This print was made in 1983 and shows the Titanic sinking. The artist, Chris Major, has a little bit of license showing the ice floes, which weren't around at the time. Superb print, and has been used as a jigsaw puzzle and a book jacket as well. Coming up to date, this one by Simon Fisher shows Titanic just leaving Southampton. Simon also has done another Titanic at Queenstown, Lusitania, Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, and a couple of other more modern ships. But this one is superb. It really gives an idea of the size of the ship. This print is by Ken Marshall, the noted American marine artist. As far as I'm concerned, it's the most stunning print of Titanic that's ever been done. It shows her with all her power and grace going at full speed, which is between 21 and 22 knots through the Atlantic.
I like the way she sits out the water. She sits proud. She sits nice and high. The funnels are nice and high, and that's exactly how a ship of this magnitude. It gives the magnitude of the ship in the water, and it does, I think, portray the ship well. I've seen many paintings of the Titanic, and I've yet to see a stern painting of the Titanic be portrayed so well.
I'm Joyce Watson from Leicester, and my grandson James is the one who's interested, and I've done the painting for him for his 15th birthday, which is next Friday, Good Friday. These are some of that's one of his drawings, and these are some pictures that he's done on computer.
Well, what these are, computer-drawn images, which is done with a mouse, which is like a hand-controlled thing. And you move it around and it creates the image on the screen.
A lot of drawings, very, very interested in it. And I think it's rubbed off on me. I'm come as interested as he had.
I worked in Southampton Shipyard all my working life, and I'm very interested in the history of the old liners, and most of the pictures I've got today come from Southampton, and they're all to do with ship repair and collisions of the White Star Line. These photographs are taken by Max Mills, the Southampton photographer, and they're taken at Ocean Terminal from where the Titanic sailed, and they were taken after she came back from the Isle of Wight. She had a collision with the cruiser, HMS Hawke, and as you can see, the damage was quite severe, and this actually fated the Titanic because the ship had to go back to Belfast for repairs, and this took approximately 4 weeks, and during that time the men had to leave the Titanic work and go on to the Olympic, and this caused a delay in the sailing of the Titanic, which should have been in March, but it was delayed until April, and the rest is history. That was caused the damage.
My interest in the Titanic is general, really, but increased by my brother junking this particular 10-inch 78 record at a car boot sale. And I realised that we had something of great value. And we played it several times. Thank goodness I had a 78 deck. And then just let it rest.
It was the cry of the ship going down. Every man was busy.
Sheet music was the popular entertainment of the time. Although they had 78 RPM records, music was much more affordable and many more people could use it. As far as we know, there are about 40 different pieces of sheet music relating to Titanic.
This statue is in Colne, in Lancashire, and commemorates Wallace Hartley, the band leader of the Titanic.
We don't get many heroes in Colne, but I do think that Wallace was one of them, and I think he should be remembered as such. How many people